Welcome to Collision of Faith, Politics, and Culture. I'm Jared, and you're watching Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Sanity. Today, we're going to do a video on what is wrong with universal background checks. Hey guys, happy belated Valentine's Day. We'll jump right in. So yesterday, the White House put out a statement on the anniversary of the Parkland shooting. And, horrible shooting, horrible situation. I don't have to say that, I don't think. But what we're going to get into is what he wants to do about it, right? It says this administration will not wait for the next mass shooting. We'll take action. I'm calling on Congress for common sense gun laws. I like how they say common sense, like anybody who disagrees with them is an idiot, including requiring background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and then eliminating gun immunity for gun manufacturers. So let's take kind of that step by step, right? What's wrong with universal background checks? And this is something I think I get that a lot, you can't be against background checks, right? And I'm not against background checks necessarily. When you eliminate the gun show loophole, was what they call it. It's not a loophole. It's when two private individuals want to sell a gun. So if I want to sell a gun to my buddy, or I want to give a gun to my, let's say my granddad has a gun, he wants to give a gun to me. What you're saying is you will eliminate that, the ability of citizens to gift or sell firearms to each other without going to, let's say, a gun shop, a third party, to have a federal background check done. And so, that may sound fine. So I passed background check. I just passed a background check, right? I have no fear of taking a background check. So let's say you make me and my granddad go to a store, pay them $50 to do about whatever, the charge would be. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Two felons in Chicago, they have a pretty high, murder rate and shooting rate. Do you think two felons in Chicago are going to go to a gun store to take a background check they know they will not pass? No chance, right? There's no chance they will do that. So already it doesn't work because the guys who need the quote background checks aren't going to take them because they just don't. In addition to that, if you have a federal background check, if it's illegal to own a gun and transfer it to someone else without a record of it, you have to create a national registry, a national database of all gun owners. And some may not have a problem with that, but if you think that you're going to catalog every gun owner in the US, where they are, how many guns they have, obviously it leads to taxation, it leads to even further regulation, and it eventually, historically, leads to confiscation. Registration leads to confiscation. That's just how it is, right? In addition to that, if they know who you are, how many guns you have, where you live, all that stuff. Let's say you get labeled, name the thing, right? Domestic terrorist is getting thrown around a lot today. And what makes someone a domestic terrorist? Right now, the definition is a lot different than it was a year ago. And a year from now, it's going to be a lot different than what it is now. So your political views, your faith views, maybe, put the shoe on the other foot, right? Let's say the right had control and they wanted to regulate who could have a firearm or who could do this based on their political views. I mean, even the left, I think, would disagree with that. They would say, no, we can't do that. But that's what it leads to. If you get to label somebody a domestic terrorist based on their political views or based on whatever views, and you now have a registry of all their firearms, it's so easy, right? And red flag laws, right? Those are something that people throw in there as well. What's wrong with the red flag law? The problem is when my neighbor, doesn't like me because I'm a, Cowboys fan. And by the way, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a Dak Prescott fan because he went to Mississippi State. But anyway, I am a Cowboys fan but anyway, don't hate. Anyways, he doesn't like me because I'm a Cowboys fan. He could call the cops and say he thinks I'm a danger to myself and others. And if the red flag laws are in existence, they can come and kick down my door and take my firearms with zero due process and hold them based on just a complaint of someone saying that I am a potential danger to myself and others. That is not how we take people's constitutional rights. We have due process before you take someone's constitutional rights. So let's jump right back in. So that's what they said. So they're going to do a federal assault weapons ban, or they're going to try to. In 94, Clinton, did this. And so what they did is they banned folding telescoping stocks, pistol grips, bayonet mounts, flash hiders, or grenade launchers. So if anything had two of those features, it was outlawed. So here's a little quiz for you. So this rifle right here, do you think that, or I'm going to show you a picture of another one, or that, which one is more dangerous? Or which one would be legal under an assault weapons ban? This one has a flash hider, a pistol grip, and a telescoping stock, but it's a 22 rifle, right? 22, for those who don't know, 22 is right here on the left, about the size of a penny. This is a 223 or 5.56 round, and that's what this gun shoots. It looks, oh, look, it has a wood stock. It's all nice and, no flash hider. That is the legal one. This is the illegal one. This one is 100% more dangerous, if you want to use that word, because it shoots a high caliber or a high velocity, about the same size bullet at a lot higher velocities. This is what our M16 shoots, right? Or M4. So this is a more, quote, dangerous weapon, or it is a more dangerous weapon than this, but this would be outlawed just based on its aesthetics of what it looks like. So hopefully we haven't lost all common sense that just banning something because it has a telescoping stock doesn't do anything except, what I guess just gives them more power. So if they try this and they create a national gun registry, they say these weapons are illegal or banned, and they'll either grandfather them in, which has happened in the previous ban, or they will actually start mandatory buybacks, right? A mandatory buyback, you can't buy back something you never sold in the first place. So mandatory buybacks don't work. In addition, this is just how insane it is. In 2017, which I think is the most recent time we have data for, 64% of gun murders were done by handguns, not rifles at all. And only 4% were, quote, assault weapons, so why would you ban something that is responsible for 4% of the shootings when like 64% are done by handguns? It's obviously a politically deal. They look like they're doing something. In essence, what they do, though, all they're doing is just giving the government more power over you. And they are, taking constitutional rights, which obviously, some could argue have already been infringed upon, but they're infringing even further. So that's why I'm against mandatory gun buybacks. I'm against red flag laws. I'm against universal background checks because they don't work. There are 393 million guns in the U.S. 393 million. That is more guns than people. And, that may be a scary number for some. For me, it doesn't scare me because, my guns have never hurt anybody. So what I'm saying is it won't work. It will only create bigger and bigger government, and they will have more and more power over the populace. And I think it's attributed to Jefferson or somebody, but it says when the government fears the people, there's peace. But when the people fear the government, there's slavery or something like that. So all this being said, the government doesn't, an overreaching government does not like a well-armed populace. And they said they were going to do it. I guess it's no surprise that they're about to start rolling this out. But what we can do about it, I think we can get our state legislatures involved. This is, if you look at, let me share this, Missouri just passed this, I think, a few days ago, or they are at least working on it, gave approval. So they passed a state law that the Second Amendment Preservation Act. The bill declares it's the duty of the courts and law enforcement agencies to protect the rights of law-abiding gun owners, and states no public officer or employee of Missouri or any political subdivision of the state can have authority to enforce or attempt to enforce federal laws that infringe on the right to keep and bear arms. So it now moves to the Senate for consideration. So anyways, Idaho's working on it. You can contact your local, state reps and get them involved. We need to start taking action, guys. Hopefully we stop this in the legislatures and in the states, and it doesn't come to people getting their doors kicked in. That doesn't work. They can't be dumb enough to think people are just going to roll over and just give away all their, weapons. Maybe they are. nobody in Idaho is dumb enough to think that will actually happen. So anyways, take it for what it's worth. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.